This episode is for one of our viewers who asked a very good question. How did the early Chinese American food get so fixated on Chinese mushrooms, water chestnuts, and bean sprouts? Did Chinese want to eat those, or did someone come up with the idea that they should be added to the food served to non Chinese? Perhaps because they would seem different, special, exotic? In today's episode, we're going to try to answer this question and learn about the seemingly not so interesting water chestnuts. Hi, my name is Christy, and this is the American Chinese Food Show. I honestly didn't know the answer before starting to work on this episode. Other than the jello texture water chestnut cake that we eat on the Lunar New Year, I could only think of how water chestnut powder is used in Cantonese cuisine for mostly dim sum dessert dishes like black sesame cake, coconut milk thousand layer cake, and water chestnut sweet soup. We also use it when we make minced meat dishes to add some texture like pork patties, pork meatballs with sweet rice. It's not really an ingredient that Cantonese people use a lot, certainly not me. But to answer this question, we have to remember that foodways have pretty dramatically changed, especially in the last 100 years. The question to answer is not how water chestnuts are used today in Chinese cuisine, but how it was used in the early 1900s when chop suey first gained its popularity. Did the Chinese eat water chestnuts before chop suey? Absolutely yes. The cultivation of water chestnuts is said to have started over 2,000 years ago in China. Water chestnut has a few different nicknames. The underground snow pear, river south ginseng. It was praised for its medicinal value. Water chestnut is recorded in a 1596 medical book, Compendium of Materia Medica, as being effective for treating thirst, numbness from heat, warming the middle and boosting qi, and alleviating wind poison. So even I sometimes make a water chestnut water with bamboo cane and imperator root when I feel like heated and I have a sore throat. So how was water chestnut used in ancient times in food? In the Tang Dynasty, one recipe says, mash the meat of water lily root, lotus seeds, prickly water lily, water caltrop, taro, water chestnut, and lily bulbs. Add honey and roll into a ball. Let it set and cut into pieces for eating. Then in the Ming Dynasty, sprinkle water chestnut powder on top of stir-fry pig intestine and stomach to make it fragrant and crispy. The breakfast menu for the Empress Dowager Cixi in 1881 includes a dish called water chestnut honey ham. It was even in the tribute list from the Confucian family to the Qianlong Emperor in 1784, intended for the imperial kitchen to prepare exquisite dishes for the emperor's tasting. 90 pigs, 90 sheep, 90 geese, 90 ducks, 3 boxes of hanging noodles, 3 boxes of water chestnuts, and many more, of course. Water chestnuts are cultivated all over China, including in parts of Guangzhou province, where a lot of early Chinese immigrants are from. The Buntong area in the old Guangzhou city center was famous for growing 5 edible aquatic plants called the 5 elegans, sao, lotus root, wild rice shoot, water chestnut, water caltrop, and arrowhead. There's even a dish called Buntong 5 elegans. According to the owner of Buntong Food Company that has been selling the 5 elegans for over 100 years in an interview, the 5 elegans became popular in the late Qing dynasty when there were a few big floods in Guangzhou, like the Great Flood in 1915 that submerged Guangzhou for 7 days and nights. People starved and had to rely on these aquatic plants for food. Additionally, at that time, many people from Guangzhou went overseas to make a living, including the United States. When they set out by ship to other countries, water chestnut products were something they took on board for food because they last. We have some English documentation that somewhat supports this claim. In 1832, the Canton Chinese Courier wrote about Chinese cookery. A water plant we believe yields a tuberous root known as the water chestnut, which when boiled is a great favorite with the Chinese as a fruit and is also much used in their cookery. Another article in 1850 said water chestnut has been cultivated in all the lakes and marshes in the empire by the imperial order. The San Francisco Chronicle wrote about a visit to Suzhou. The water chestnut or caltrop grows abundantly and is eaten at every meal, especially during the summer months, as it is supposed to possess cooling virtues for the blood. Water chestnut showed up in important meals too, one in 1865 in San Francisco Chinatown, given to Schuyler Colfax, then the Speaker of the House, who later became the 17th Vice President of the United States. Another one is a 1879 banquet given by the Viceroy and the Tartar General of Canton in their house in Guangzhou, China. Water chestnut shows up twice on the menu, once as a vegetable dish before the main course, and once as a middle-sized bowl course after duck feet and roast wild duck. Water chestnuts in sauce. So yeah, common folks ate it as a snack. It was used in dishes, but by no means water chestnuts was a super popular ingredient. I glanced through the earliest Cantonese cookbook, Truth in Deliciousness, written in 1887. The only dish that lists water chestnut as an ingredient is a fish stomach stir fry. Blanch the stomach, stir fry with shiitake, dried 5-spice bean curd, water chestnut, and water celery. Add sesame oil, whereas shiitake and bamboo shoots are everywhere in this cookbook. It was indeed chop suey that propelled water chestnuts to the status it eventually achieved in America. My guess is someone in a Chinese restaurant kitchen somewhere in America added water chestnuts in a stir fry casually. It was probably lying around as a common ingredient along with bamboo shoots. It sure didn't hurt that water chestnuts are cheap because they are very easy to mass cultivate and take only 120 days after planting them in the fall for harvesting. It was a reasonable choice from the chef. Could he imagine water chestnut would later become an indispensable part of Chinese food in the new land? Not in a million years. If you have any questions or topics that you would like me to explore, comment below. I'll try to get to them. That's it for today's episode. If you like our content, subscribe to the channel. See you soon.